I hope you can hear us.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me as well.
Yes, we can hear you as well. So thank you joining today. I know that it's a little bit like we are doing a lot of back-to-back, but we want to make sure that how we can use full AI, not only for 3D Gen AI, but all other things as well. Happy to hear more from you. Stage is yours.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to share my screen. So very happy to be here. So I'm working at FAL. My name is Lovis Odin. I'm creative engineer. So I work every day with a lot of different models and we integrate them like every day when you have a new model that is for video, 3D, audio, image, we integrate it on FAL. So we have a platform finally where you can find more than 1,300 models now, almost 1,400 even. And so we have a platform where you can like use this model using directly our interface, but also using the API. And it's where I think it's the most useful, even for project or as you were saying, like to connect to Fab, for example. So I'm just gonna show you quickly. So yes, that's what we do. FAL, generative media platform for developer. As I said, like we are probably we are the largest platform for media model right now. We have like partnership with many model provider. Like almost all of them, and we have them on file for like almost all models that can exist already today. And so when you go on file, what is super easy is you can create your account, and we will give you after some credits. And the goal of how you can use it finally is to find the different model. You can go to explore. And here, sorry, I will just move this from my screen. If you click on view all model, here you have like kind of all the functionality possible with the model on file. So you can do 3D to 3D. You were speaking a lot about image to 3D. So here all the models that we do like image to 3D. We have like model to do image to video or video to video. I'm sure you heard about Cadence 2.0 or Gemini Omni Flash. Almost all the models that you can find, you can use it there. And what is super, I think, good for developer or for people to use it is you can use them like directly using our platform here. So you can like use a prompt, you use a video URL, for example, here, and you can just run it and have the result directly on the platform. But also all these endpoint, as we call them, all this model, you can call them directly via API, and it's very easy to do. So if you use Cloud Code or Codex, the only thing you can do is just you go to settings here and you create an API key. You can copy paste even just the link and say to like Claude or Codex generate me like 10 video like that, and you can use our API in a very easy way. Also, if you want to know how to integrate it easy, so you can just copy paste the link, as I said, to Claude or Codex, and it will know how to do it. But you can also click here on LLM. So on each model, we have a little button called LLM, and so here you have like the full, how I can say, the full description of the model and the full like how you can integrate it, how you can call the model, etc., etc. So if you copy paste that to any like a vibe coding tool, it will allow like to integrate the model for your project. So again, there is a lot of possibility. I will just show you some possibilities that we have on file. So for sure, we have the model of Tripo, for example, that are available. So we have like a lot of different providers, but Tripo 3D, we have their model here that you can use. We have also UniUAN 3.1. We have also trainer for LoRa. I know some people like to train. We have, for example, the first trainer. So we have trainer for almost all the models that are open source. So like for image model, video model. We have also the first trainer for a 3D model for Trelli. Here it's another like provider, Trelli 2. It's an open source for generation of 3D. But again, Tripo is like very good as well, so you can use them both. What I mean is like on file, you have a lot of possibility. So you can, as I show you very quickly, you can use all this model to test it directly on the platform, or you can use it via API. Also, one other thing, if you want to test, because we have so much model, sometimes it's difficult to test which model is the best. So we have different possibilities. So we have File Sandbox, and File Sandbox is super useful because you can test in live the same prompt for different model. So that would be useful if you want to test different model, to test the speedness, the price, because it's also what we do as File. We have like a lot of different models that can be like different pricing, different quality. So yes, but on this platform, you should allow to find almost everything to generate visual content. And yeah, we're happy to collaborate today. And yeah, don't hesitate if you have questions. We're gonna share probably a doc with more information about the platform, about also the access to credits. But that give you a global idea of what we do and how we can use us. Hope it was clear and yeah, thank you for this.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Lovis, for this very packed explanation of Full AI. Let's. By the way, we have Q&A tab of below this Zoom link. So if you have any questions after we finish the tripo, maybe Lovis, can you maybe wait for maybe 15 more minutes because let's have the tripo team. Is it okay?
Okay. What time? I have to go at 11. I'm sorry.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that if there's any questions, let me check the chat one more time. We have a question about 3D training.
So like,
Maybe,
yeah,
yeah.
we have like I can share you the link. So we are the first I think there is a lot of model today for like 3D, but we just released the first time a LoRa trainer for 3D model. So you can have a look if you want. It was just released by one of our post-training team. So yeah, I just share the link right now. Oh, sorry, I will share for everyone. But yeah, it's just one example of what you can do. We have, like, as I say, like so much model, so you can do almost everything. After it's just, yeah, a way to discover what you can do. But yes, you can test this if you want. It would be great to have feedback.
Wonderful, wonderful. Drew said, Merci, Lovis. Just was curious regarding the credits and the cost benchmark.
Yes, each model have a like for the credit amount. I have to check. I don't know yet exactly how much it will be, but you will have some good amounts that you can use our platform in an easy way. And each model have a different pricing, so it will be very clear before you launch. Like you will see the price is very clear. But normally we allow you to have some credits that allow you to test a lot of model. But now there is some models that are very expensive as well, like Cadence, that can be like $2, $3, $4 per video. So there is like for sure some stuff like to check before to launch and like to be sure the price are right and not too expensive for your use case. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. By the way, chat is a little bit fast, so please add that to the Q&A part. But one more
Yeah.
question from Kyle. Do the models run locally on my machine's GPU or the models run in the cloud?
Yeah, it's very interesting that you say that. So on File, we have a very big infra. So we have a lot of models that are like on our own GPU. And we have some models that we use through API with our partner. But it's all going through our own GPU. So like it's not your GPU, it will be like through us. So like the goal is just you can generate stuff and like you can just use our API for this. To give an example, if you wanted to generate a video of Cadence or Kling with your own GPU, it would be impossible because you will need at least a B200 or B300. So there is also this limitation. That's why we provide services for these big models that you can't use locally, to be honest, with any GPU really on the market right now.
Amazing, amazing. I think this is very nice that because some projects use vision model, 3D Gen AI model, text to speech, lots of other stuff. I think Full AI is really making our life difficult and keep like sometimes. We are done of registering, signing up to another platform, etc. So it's really nice that everything is under one, especially for such experimental projects. And I think with Fable, actually, there's a huge opportunity because
Totally.
Fable can connect to lots of different things, so
Totally.
it doesn't make sense that you give the sign up details on each one of them. I think that's a huge opening up huge opportunity. And do you have anything to say about Tripo before you hand over to Tripo? And you guys
No, we
are,
love.
yeah,
Yeah, to be honest, like I can show. So we have all the latest model of Tripo on FAL. Tripos are a very powerful model. Also, I use them, and to be honest, like I use them since a long time, even before that I was working at FAL. So like I know Tripo very well, and I think it's a very good model compared to the other one. Very good for quality of assets. So I really recommend even to testing on our platform or their platform, but you will access their model as well on FAL. And yes, you will see. I think I love like to create for characters and for elements that have a lot of like a shape a bit complex. I think Tripo doing a better job than most of the other model, without to be too nice with them. But each model have different, and I feel Tripo is very good at that. So yeah, happy to collaborate more with them and to give the mic to them to see what
yeah.
they're gonna
And
show.
Louis, you are coming to SIGGRAPH, so we will
Yes.
We will see you there as well. It will be interesting for those who wants to do a little bit much more deeper into full AI. I think that's a great opportunity as well. And the thing that we are very curious is your Blender project as well, because that one is we are very sharing with our community as well. I know if you want to share it now, but if not, we can also talk about that at the hackathon as well.
I can show quickly, but like
Okay.
the goal is like just like I think there is combination of stuff. So I will not show you the final stuff about it. I will just share very quickly. So
Okay.
yeah, just release this. So this is, as you can see, Blender. You probably know Blender. And I just create this quick movie in a single prompt with Fable. So I just ask like, finally, also when you do a single prompt and you ask something to Fab, you have to know what you ask to make sure you have something perfect at the end or almost perfect in a single prompt. Here I just say like connect me to the MCP Blender and make a scene. And I really explain each of the scenes that I wanted to train. I wanted something that looked like a cinematic scene. But the goal after that, so this is the first part of this little project. The goal after that will be like to use the new models that we create on Fab. Sorry, like very sound, but like the goal of this model will be after like to transform this 3D in something photorealistic. So it's like the combination of model is just to give you some idea, but it's the combination of model together, creating 3D on one side, transforming this 3D into video that can have a lot of value, you know. And I think for an
Yeah.
hackathon and like for ideas that can, there is so many possibilities in not only for this, but like in many different way. So it will be amazing to see what you can create on your side as well. But yeah,
Amazing.
that's it. Yeah.
Imagine a triple created scene, and then you are converting to it.
Exactly.
Like I
Yeah.
don't want to give so much. I don't want to
No, but there is
give
even
so
like
much
World
thing.
Lab. So I know we partnership also with World Lab, for example, and I love World Labs as well. For
Yeah.
example, you can create worlds with World Lab and use maybe like the creating asset with Tripo to put it
Wow.
inside this world, and after maybe transforming this world maybe with a file with a video to video. But I just mean like you can combine always this together to make it how you want. So yeah, so
Yeah,
many.
this is incredible. Like I cannot imagine what will happen in 10 days, guys. So very excited to see you, Lovis. Hopefully we will talk more at Hackathon and SIGGRAPH. But we have so much back to back today. I will immediately hand over to Tripo. Thanks for joining. We are really loving Full AI team. They are really doing an amazing job of bringing everything together and making our life easier. Now another partner making our 3D generation life easier. Benny, if you can hear us, uh, maybe you can a little bit mention about Tripo. We already talked a little bit now with Folea, but want to make sure that maybe you can also share a little bit about how we can harness the superpower of Tripo.
Okay, thank you for and can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you well.
All right. I need to share my screen. Okay. Can you see the full slide now?
Yes, perfect now. Perfect.
Okay, all right, perfect. So yeah, I'm Benny from the Triple Research team, and we're very excited to be a major partner and a sponsor of this hackathon. And also thanks to Lovis for the very kind words about Triple. We have very deep collaboration with Flow AI from a long time ago. And today I'll be briefly talking about what Triple AI can do, and I'll be sharing with you some very interesting use cases that our developers use Triple to build, like games or so. So yeah, so for Triple, our goal is to do automatic 3D asset creation. So 3D assets, they are basically still the cornerstone of these interactive 3D worlds. Although there are other techniques like Gaussian splattings. I like Gaussians personally, but we have to admit that mesh-based assets are still the major part of the 3D assets because they are easy to render and they have very mature pipelines for creation. But creating this kind of 3D assets in the traditional way can be a very tedious work. We need to like go from modeling to sculpting to texture painting and maybe do the retopology and UV unwrapping and also like do the rigging and animation if we need the object to be dynamic. So it's kind of like doing the work of traditional sculptors. We need to carefully shaping every detail by hand. But in Triple, we build algorithm to simplify this asset creation process with AI. So um, we meant to automate like the most repetitive and labor-intensive part of 3D creation. So Triple can free creators to focus more on their ideas and design and creativity. And the core capability of Triple AI is shown here is to generate a digital 3D asset given a single input image or text prompt or multi-view images. We now have around 20 million users worldwide, and we have built deep collaborations with leading companies across many different aspects like gaming or consumer electronics or digital platforms. All right, so in Triple, we have two series of AI models, the H series and P series. They differ in the algorithm behind the model, and they have very different characteristics. For the H series model, the H3.1 model we shown on the left, which is the latest version of the H series, it excels in creating very high quality assets, up to 2 million triangle spaces. And for the P1 model we shown on the right, it features in very fast generation of low polygon meshes. So the geometry generation takes only about 5 seconds, and it's a natural solution if you are building interactive games or other scenarios where you want to generate things on the fly instead of just using the assets offline. Okay, so to really make these assets interactive, we need to do rigging and skinning and apply animations. Our research team have been publishing several research works about automatic rigging and skinning on SIGGRAPH, like UniRig from SIGGRAPH 2025 and skin tokens from SIGGRAPH 2026. And now the functionality is already available on Triple. You can do fully automatic rigging and skinning, not only for humanoid characters, but also for basically everything. And for humanoid characters, we can have automatic motion retargeting, and you can easily import the animated assets into any mainstream 3D engine. So here is a typical workflow for generating a 3D asset using Triple. First, we will have a 2D design. It can come from a human designer or come from any image generation model, which we also have them on the Triple platform. We might need to iterate a little bit on the 2D design first and use the H series or P series model to generate the geometry. And we also have automatic AI texturing and rigging and skinning. And after all these, we can put that into the 3D scene. Okay, so next I would like to share with you some interesting use cases of Triple from our developers. But before that, let me start from an so-called AI slop game I made several weeks ago. We need to use this term now, AI slop. I have to admit it actually is AI slop. But it's kind of fun to build this kind of game because I just type a simple prompt and ask the Cloud Code to use Triple API to build this kind of Mario Kart game, and it can give me automatically give me the results in half an hour. So it's pretty amazing. It's during the period where Cloud Fable is first launched. And we can see in this game, all the cards and characters are generated using Triple P1. And it's interesting that the wheels of the card can actually steer and spin because Triple P1 has actually a very good topology. You can easily separate out the wheels or other like dynamic parts from the mesh. So this is not a very creative project, but I just saw great potential in making creative stuff with very low effort with the help of Triple 3D asset generation capability. And here's another game that uses Triple for 3D asset generation called The Bot. It's an award-winning game from a game jam we hosted. It's special because I think it not just uses Triple to generate assets offline as game assets, but it actually generates the main character online with your own uploaded photo. It uses a workflow we mentioned earlier and do the automatic rigging and scanning thing to the generated character so it can do the battle actions you can see in this video. I think it's a very interesting use case for using 3D asset generation actually as the gameplay itself. And here's another one that's related to heritage preservation. Some researchers from China, they built this automatic workflow to recover the 3D version of the old architectures or heritage remains from the Silk Road using Triple API. And they put the generated assets into a 3D scene so that people can actually step into that ancient time for an immersive experience. And the last one I would like to show you is this project called Flory. This is also from a hackathon. It's an award-winning project from another hackathon. The developers they're from China. They built a flower arrangement game where everything here is generated from AI. The flowers, the vase, the baskets, all AI generated. And the players, they can have fun in generating all these kind of different assets and arrange them by hand, and also share them with your friends. All right, so to summarize, I think Triple can, the basic capability of Triple is to do automatic 3D asset generation. And these 3D assets can actually be used in basically two ways. One is to be used as basic world building blocks. And another one is used as gameplay itself. So I hope Triple can be useful to all of you, to all the hackers, and we just can't wait to see what you can build with Triple. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Benny. There are a lot of interesting possibilities on the 3D Gen AI side, and
Yeah, sure.
for the last couple of months, even like so many new features coming up, and we have actually a few questions that I would like to quickly share because also Word Labs Ian is also here. We will start right after you. So one question from Hai Song. Hi Benny, thank you so much for sharing. Can you share the project link of the virtual Silk Road? Maybe what we can do is we will have a resources sheet directly from Triple, so we can have the full sheet, and then we can have all these use cases inside that link. So anyone who is looking for accessing these projects, just check our Notion page in the next few days, so you will be able to see everything related from Triple. How does it sound? Benny, you can maybe share the links of all these projects showcase that you shared.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Perfect. So in the next few days, you will see this link on our Notion page. So we don't need to, because there are so many projects, I'm sure that you can also look at the other Triple documentation as well. Another thing is, was a DCC needed for any part of the Mario Kart demo, like for separating the wheels?
Oh, I can see a comment in saying that DJ Rivals only use generative AI to generate characters 3D head. I think maybe I made a mistake here. I think they are, they are probably only using Triple I for the character head. Sorry for the confusion here.
Okay. For the Mario Kart demo.
For the Mario Kart demo, I think I tell the cloud code to generate all kind of assets using Triple P1 API. So it does really well in generating all the characters and cars. Yeah.
Okay. So DCC was not needed, as far as I understand, because like for separating the wheels, etc., it was not needed. Okay.
Yeah.
One more thing. is the triple rigging and retargeting available?
Yeah. I think the rigging and retargeting is already available on the Triple API platform. So I think there will be someone else will be introducing the platform, right? Or
Yes,
we
exactly.
can have some kind of materials on the website.
There's a question, if you have real-world 3D reality capture, how to integrate? I think this is a question that our team can also share something, but do you have anything from your side, Benny? How to integrate probably the 3D GS to a triple?
Yeah, I think reality capture can exist in many different ways. We can have triple splat assets, we can have mesh assets, we can have like scanned assets from many different perspectives, and I think they work well together in modern engines like Unity and Unreal. They have plugins to make splats and meshes work together, I think. So I think yeah. A triple generates traditional mesh-based assets, but it's fine if you can use your own splat-based or mesh-based assets together with triple generated assets.
Okay. Of course, I didn't understand the question because are they meaning they want to scan the object and then connect with a GenAI with Tripo, or are they meaning they want to create a huge splats of spaces and then connect it with object? Benny answered one of them. The other question is, I think XGRIDS team and our team will probably mention about how you can bring a Tripo AI API running on game engines or WebXR or any kind of like a tool that you are already using, that you are bringing your splat into the same scene as well. So you will stay in touch because you will see a lot about that in the next few hours. So let me
Yeah,
check.
sure.
Does the AI also plan the different poses to generate for each character item, or did you request each fight scene pose and then generate each one? Asked by Kyle.
Sorry, can you repeat the question,
Does the
please?
AI also plan the different poses to generate for each character item, or did you request each fight scene pose and then generate each one?
I think for characters, we mainly first use the standard T pose or A pose to generate the character geometry, then use the rigging and retargeting function to pose them to like in different actions or poses. So yeah, so maybe probably try standard AT pose first.
Perfect. Perfect. I think we have already questions finished. So thank you, Benny, for your time. I mean, we will see the team. I think you are also coming to the hack as well.
Yeah, sure.
You guys have also a few SIGGRAPH paper submissions, right? Like you already will also have sessions
Yeah, sure.
at SIGGRAPH, as far as I know. So we will probably see you both at the hack and at SIGGRAPH. And thank you for joining now. We already covered all the 3D Gen AI with the help of Tripo team, Benny, and also Full AI team, Lovis also mentioned. Now we are going to the Splat side. As you remember, that these two strangers, once the part is over, now the other part, the Splat part, the 3D GS part, will be now covered with World Labs team and with XGRIDS team. So Benny, on your side, I'm sure that you will also be happy if you see a lot of world models running along with 3D, right? As far as I understand.
Yeah, of course, all kinds of world models. Yeah.
We love it, right? We love world models. We love splats. Perfect. Thank you again, Benny, for your time. I want to
thank you for
thank you for your time, and we will see each other in 10 days. Probably.
See you at the hack.
Yes, exactly. We will have a lot of interesting things as well.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions about the triple usage, so we can always discuss at the Discord server, or we can connect you with our guy to like if you want more details about it.
Amazing. I'm pretty sure with Full AI and with you guys, we will have enough credits so we can make a lot of experimentation, I guess.
Yeah, sure. We'll also have some free credits to give. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Benny, and see you in 10 days. Thanks for this amazing presentation.
Thank you. See
very
you.
much. Great. So I think we are now on a stage that we finished the 3D Gen AI part, but now world models, splats, 3D reconstruction, how to bring them together, how to bring them to a game engines. This is the part of the workshop day is starting now. Ian, if you can hear me, I will also spotlight you.
Hello,
So,
hello.
hello. How are you, Ian?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. And thank you, Benny, for the presentation as well. It's great for me to learn a lot more about Tripo.
Yes, amazing, amazing. Yes, this is really interesting. Full AI, Tripo, and Word Labs. I think we literally have all the top superpowers that you can bring the whole scene together. I mean, Word Labs, we are following very closely for the last couple of years, but for the last few months, you already announced a lot of new features. So we would like to hear a little bit about that and maybe also use cases that we would like to see what kind of interesting learnings or use cases you had internally or during your exposure with your community activities. So maybe you can tell more about that. But on behalf of everyone here, I see the excitement as well. So we are really happy to see Word Labs as part of this hackathon. I know that you guys are very busy releasing the next big thing, but joining us not only online but also in person will be really amazing to see you guys. Hopefully, there will be very interesting projects coming up from the hackathon. And without further ado, I want to hand over the mic to you. But everyone, if you have any question, please use the Q&A tab because chat is quite like a crowded. We have to make sure that we don't miss your question. Okay. Thank you, Ian. And stage is yours. Looking forward to hearing more from Word Labs.
Yes, thank you so much. And also really excited to be at the hackathon in about a week and a half. We've done a couple this year already, and it's been really amazing to see all of the crazy cool projects people have been building across a variety of different industries. Yeah, and with that, I'll jump into my presentation for today. A quick intro. Hello, everybody. My name is Ian. I work on the product and design team at World Labs. And today, we will be talking about Marble, our product that we released last November, talk about kind of the inputs that Marble takes and the outputs that it will generate. I'll go through some interactive demos, get excited. We'll all be able to play together multiplayer and walk through a Marble world together. It's from my experience, a lot better way to describe and showcase kind of these 3D environments rather than just kind of 2D images. And then third, we're going to go through Marble workflows and showcase kind of how some of these worlds were generated and created. And then end with kind of some use case examples across a variety of industries, including robotics, gaming, VFX, and augmented and virtual reality. And then, yes, we'll end with some Q&A as well. So to start off, really simply, is Marble creates persistent 3D worlds from text, images, and video that you can explore, edit, and build on. And so some of these videos you're seeing in the background here, again, is a variety of different use cases. In the bottom right is a VFX example of Marble on like a really large virtual production screen. On the bottom left is like an augmented reality experience using kind of phone as a portal. We have an Unreal Engine game at the bottom there. And there's a lot of other demos that we'll be going over. So on a high level, Marble turns multimodal inputs into 3D worlds. And these four here are kind of the core four inputs. First here is text. For example, in a detailed lived-in Hobbit kitchen filled with woven baskets and copper kettles. And then this fly-through is a video, a kind of 360 fly-through of that kitchen, which is a full 3D GS environment. And then one of our most popular inputs is image, of course. On the top right here, you get a beautiful image of a waterfall, and you're able to move around this persistent space. And then videos. These could be AI-generated videos, or we've seen a lot of use cases of people filming their own house or filming a street here around the corner of our office, for example, then being able to reconstruct that into a 3D persistent environment. And then on the bottom right here is multi-image, which is a bit more fun, where you can kind of mix and match different types of input images that might be fairly different and kind of see how the model warps them together into a singular space. And then with these inputs, you'll get a variety of different outputs. First is 3DGS. We allow you to output a selection of different numerical Gaussian splat amounts. So you could do like lower amounts of 300K to 1 million Gaussian splats. And this kind of feeds into kind of your down the road workflow on how optimized you want the splats to be. And then we also will export collider meshes, kind of a quick lower poly collider mesh, or what we call a HD collider mesh. And so here's what you're seeing that for. And we see a lot of that in robotic simulations and or games that need the collider mesh for physics. And then some of the best image types, and I'll go over some of these examples in the Marble Explorer page, but you want to have kind of a straight eye level view that has high contrast. So aerial shots usually don't generate or reconstruct as well, but think about this as like you're walking through the space from eye level, or a human perspective is usually going to get the best output for the Marble environments. And then next, I will head over to marble.worldlabs.ai. I'm going to encourage anybody here to do that as well. Once you land on our site here, you have the Explorer page. And what's cool about the Explorer page is it's going to showcase a bunch of generations that our users have created today. And you can click into one. I have some open here. For example, here's a nice cabin in the woods. And you can also get to the download of the assets here, and also view kind of the input image. So it's really helpful for me if I find an environment or a world that I really like, that I can click on the download info and kind of explore and look at that input image. And so I'm kind of learning from the community on what type of images work really well, and some that may not work as well either. And then, so you can create these environments, and then the really cool aspect is bringing it into your current workflows. So here, if you join robot/roommates.netlify.app, we can actually all jump into this game together. It's a game that we built on the team using Three.js, Spark.js, which is a renderer for 3D Gaussian splats. And it is a full stitched together Marble world. And encourage everybody to, if you go to robot/roommates.netlify.app, or you can join also via your phone and this QR code. So there we go. We got somebody jumping in here. And so this full environment was generated with Marble. And Britt, who I think is also on the call here, helped put together this environment. And so essentially it was built with about 10 different input images, and each of these rooms were then stitched together. So it looks like we got a lot of people in here, which is cool. And so what I'm going to do as well is pull my debug menu here. So this is just kind of showing the simple collider meshes that are laid on top of the Gaussian splat, so that as my character moves around, I'm not clipping through these 3D Gaussian splats. And then also the collider mesh acts as a shadow catcher. So the robot itself here, you can see at the bottom, has a shadow. And then also the collider meshes will mask out the shadows as well. And that's a problem that I've run into in the past, where shadows have opacity to them, and Gaussian splats have a lot of opacity to them as well. And so kind of the rendering will overlap there, but this process of kind of overlapping the collider mesh is really helpful to get kind of these nice shadows and And so, yeah, I'm glad everybody's kind of walking around and exploring. This is kind of an example of a fun, creative game experience you can build. This was built with the help of Fable as well, where we imported the model, the collider meshes, and then uploaded some of these robot models and then placed them around to different environments. And I'll jump on to the next step of the presentation, but I just want to show this at the end. It's a fun little photo of all the robot roommates here. So cool. And here is a time lapse of the environment being put together. Again, Britt, who's the creative artist on our team, she's one of the best world builders I know. And this is the editor on the Marble website. So essentially allows you to upload 3D GS environments or Marble generated environments, and then have some tooling such as erasing and transforms of 3D GS to kind of what we call stitch these together to then create a larger, more explorable 3D world. And so now I'm going to kind of go over some of the more broad use cases within the industry. I'll start off with gaming and VFX here, go into AR and VR, and then robotics. And I'll kind of just play these videos and talk to them as there are a lot of different use cases from the community. But a lot of these initially here are built on 3JS. This one I showed you guys at the beginning was built on Unreal Engine, but a lot of our community will build games on the web or 3JS. One, for the accessibility reasons, and then two, the World Labs team has helped to build and share Spark.js, which I'll talk about more on, which is a 3D GS renderer for 3JS. And then here's virtual production use cases. This is actually a creator we worked with named Josh, who went to his street he grew up on in London and actually took a photo and then brought that photo into Marble, regenerated it with kind of this like creepy zombie-esque style, and then was able to create a full persistent 3D environment that he then used for a zombie video that he built. I'll flip through here, but yes, these are some virtual production use cases and then kind of environments for 3D rendering. And one of my favorite, I've worked in AR and VR for a while now, and so it's really awesome to see all the use cases in mixed reality. This is on the Vision Pro, which I haven't had too much experience with, but more so the Quest 3. We have a demo on our website that allows you to open Marble Worlds. Oh yeah, and all Marble Worlds from our Explore page can be opened on the Quest, and it's a lot more immersive to look through them that way. There's some web augmented reality experiences. And with these demos, you can see the hands, but you can interact with the 3D Gaussian splats, and they kind of move around as you move your hands through the splats, which are really fun. And then more technical background, not my expertise per se, but robotics. What I can talk about this is the outputs from Marble are used here heavily, specifically the collider meshes, especially for kind of all the physics simulations of the robots moving throughout the environment or like placing objects on counters, etc. That the HD collider meshes are super helpful for the robotics workflow here. And then I talked about this briefly. This is Spark.js, which is a 3D GS renderer built on top of 3JS. And the World Labs team has built this and also open sourced this tooling. And so I absolutely love this. It's so fun to use Spark with any of your AI tools like Fable, because you're able to render these massive 3D Gaussian splats with what we recently released in Spark 2.0, which is LOD. And so LOD, for those that are unfamiliar, essentially will render kind of the detail of splats depending on your distance. And so as you move the camera around, we will render splats super high detail that are closer to you and within the camera frustum. And so this kind of just optimizes the ability to view splats on the web with this use case. And if you're curious, you can go to the World Labs website under Research and Insights, and we have a blog that goes over all of the details and updates for Spark 2.0, and they all have these interactive links you can go to see the updates live. And what I do want to pull up here is one of my favorite Spark 2.0 examples is the Koi Tower. So what you're seeing here is that green kind of initial load. I'll reload the page here. So this is kind of the LOD tree being loaded in. And this, for some background here, this is a 40 million Gaussian splat file that is just running in my browser. And for that load time is pretty crazy fast. Those are familiar with Gaussian splats, like that is absurdly fast from my experience. And so you can kind of see, if I turn really quick, you can see some of the LOD loading in. But this is a really fun example, and encourage everyone to go onto the website and look at some of these large splats. But it's really fun to see the detail in this as you fly around and kind of see the splat update. So yeah, if you're building with Marble in the web, strongly suggest using Spark 2.0. And also you can learn a lot from it from this blog. And then also, if you want to explore other 3D games built with Marble, Icarus was one that we worked with a creative studio that was released about 3 weeks ago. This was a highlight showcase game that uses Spark along with 3JS, and all the assets in here are 3D Gaussian splats, and the worlds as well, you'll see as the character walks through here. And so it's a great example of kind of showcasing the tooling and connection of GLB models, 3D Gaussian splats, web, with kind of the marriage of all these together to create a really compelling, interesting game. And then on top of that, they do a lot of amazing post-processing effects to kind of bring it to the next level, a lot of lighting, shadows, etc., to really bring a really compelling web game. And I can maybe pull this up live too. I'll let that load for a second. And then also, for any inspiration, I strongly suggest people to head to our website and then our community showcase page. And our community showcase page is going to show a variety of different projects. We also have GitHubs that will link straight to the projects if you're curious about the workflow. And this will show workflows with an Unreal Engine, Unity, 3JS, and other types of DCCs, and is a really, really fun place to explore. Let's see. So here's, if you go to our card./game.world, you can play this experience, which also includes 8 different Marble worlds that you can explore. And so with that, yeah, that is a high-level overview of Marble, the different types of industries that we've seen use cases used, and then some really awesome creative projects that our community has built. And yeah, thank you.
Amazing. I'm checking every time, and then there's another new project or use case that you guys are showcasing. This is amazing. I don't know. I was just telling at the chat as well. People were talking about WebXR, Fable, and World Labs Absolute Cinema. Really.
Oh, it is. Yeah, and I've been exploring a lot with WebXR too, and it's been really fun. Just using Spark specifically, it's my first time that I'm able to render large Gaussian splats without the frame rate dropping to 5 FPS and me getting sick. It's the LOD is super helpful, and I've been bringing in Marble worlds and being able to scale them up, or just creating portals, or I've tried to 3D reconstruct my apartment and then kind of shrink it down and be able to view it in WebXR. Anyways, there's a lot of creative use cases to kind of connect all these tools.
we also shared the Word Labs showcase, community showcase page on chat. So anyone who would like to check and then even hop on to one of these worlds, you can already do that. So we have a couple of questions. Ian, let me quickly ask. Kyle is asking, Word Labs Marble inputs 360-degree footage feature. Will we be able to upload 360-degree video, remove camera person? Is it the ultimate input for realism going forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. So to first answer, you can currently upload a static 360 image into Marble and then generate a scene. And we've certainly gotten feedback and are looking into the ability to upload 360 video. And we've gotten this feedback a lot from people who are doing reconstruction of sites, specifically museums or kind of older buildings. And so, for example, like our video upload doesn't support 360 video upload, but it supports video upload, which then is transferred into, because videos are just a bunch of images, and then we generate that to create that environment. But yes, to answer your question, unfortunately not right now, but in the near future, it's something that we're exploring and looking into, and certainly have gotten a lot of feedback around. And I think you're muted.
Sorry. Yes, it's amazing. So maybe in the following hackathon, we can have access to these new features. That's great.
Yeah.
Can you share the source code for this web app? I know which one is being referred to. You talk about that on 10, 11 minutes, I guess. In any case, do you have, we can have maybe a list of all the resources if you want, or how we should proceed on that?
Yeah, I can, I'll actually share, sorry, bear with me. I'm just gonna share a link here in the chat.
Okay.
We have the Learn page on our website, but this Notion page is what we call our starter kit. It's really helpful. It has a lot of tutorials on the collider meshes. Britt, again, who I keep referring to, is the creative artist on our team. She's built out a lot of these tutorials that showcase the character controller and collider meshes. And then if the question was asked about the robot game source code, yeah, I think we'd be happy to open source that. That's sitting on my computer right now, so I can certainly just open source that and would love to have people look at that. But on a high level, it's just connecting our collider mesh tutorial, character controller, and then the kind of stitched overall scene. And then to give some more background, that 3D multiplayer game is using Socket.io to create kind of the multiplayer servers for people to join in.
Amazing.
And this is all built on the web via Three.js.
Yes, amazing. All the links, we can also put that inside the Notion page, overall Notion page of the hack. So for those who are really looking forward to check, you can already do that, because there are so many links piled up. I want to make sure that everyone can see all the Word Labs things. Daniel is asking, could you create a collider mesh for a reality captured 3D GS?
Well, so as of right now, you would need to generate that environment in Marble for us to generate the collider mesh. So we don't have a workflow where you can upload a pre-captured environment and then create a collision mesh from that. That being said, there are some like open source examples, even in that starter kit that we've showed, where you can use some open source examples to then generate a collision map from a pre-generated environment. Just within Marble as of right now, we don't have the ability to upload a pre-captured environment and then generate a collider mesh. It's just generated environments from Marble that we create the collider meshes from. And then another workflow too, depending on the complexity of the scene, is you can always do it manually, which I know people may be indifferent on this thought, but for me, like if the scene is fairly simple, like just creating box geometry, even if it takes like 20 to 30 minutes is almost better, just because box geometry is so optimized that for like we're running on the web, it's Again, if the scene is simple, just you can create some boxes for the collision meshes.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
Carol is asking, how does that take to render or generate? Maybe how long does it take render or generate?
Yeah. So I'll answer that in two parts, if I'm hearing this correct. So to generate a marble world, it takes about 4 to 5 minutes. And then to render it is, I guess, a separate question. It's fairly instant, depending on kind of what DCC you're using. I know Unity and Unreal Engine kind of have different plugins on how to render and how to process 3DGS, but for 3JS, which with Spark, which I can talk best to, it's fairly instant. Like, for example, that 40 million Gaussian splat file of Coit Tower was, that was a web page that was rendering instantly. And I've tested that even when it's not cached. So it's just like, it's literally within seconds, especially of LOD to load that, which is really
Perfect.
cool.
There's a one comment called Stranger Things to Lost in Space. I think they refer to your friend's thing. Grace is asking, by the way, Grace is also building a lot on word models from the beginning. Grace, she's having a very nice Playhouse platform. Maybe Grace, you can also send. What are the best recommendations? What are the best recommendations for optimizing and getting HD splats loading smoothly and fast on web? How you are stitching splats together to extend them? Is that something we can build on?
Yeah. I think to answer your first question, to get Gaussian splats rendering on the web really quick, is number one, use Spark.js, use LOD, and then second is there's a .rad file that Spark.js enables. And so if you load a splat with Spark currently, at runtime, we essentially create the LOD tree in the splat every time. So that process takes a couple seconds, which isn't great. What you can do is you can pre-process the LOD tree. And I can share some documentation, sorry, because this gets a bit complex, but you can pre-process the LOD tree via a .rad file, which is in the Spark.js documentation. And you can do this just via cursor. You can upload your file and say, I want to convert this to RAD. And then that way it already calculates the LOD tree so that it just loads like instantly, which is awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We talk for robotics World Labs team? One person is asking, but the person is anonymous, so I don't know who wants to talk with you about robotics. But I'm sure if you guys coming to the hack, you will see the World Labs team in person. Kyle is asking, is Spark.js useful for VR, Quest 3, or only web use cases?
Yeah. And I can answer the other question too. Yeah, if you have any questions about robotics, please reach out to support at worldlabs.ai and the team can help answer your question. And then the second question of was that so it's Spark on WebXR or the web? Was that the question?
Sorry, is Spark.js useful for VR or only web use cases?
Yeah, so Spark.js is built specifically for 3JS, so any web-related rendering. So if you do use it for VR, you'll have to do it via WebXR to use the capabilities of Spark. And then with 3JS, yeah, WebXR is on top of 3JS for the web or WebXR. So
perfect. Tianyu is asking, what is the accuracy of collider meshes?
Yeah, so great question. We have two collider mesh export options for Marble. There's kind of the basic collider mesh, which will export within a second. And that, I mean, it's hard to state a certain number because every world is different, but that is not as high quality as the HD collider mesh. The HD collider mesh will run for about 45 minutes. So you can press the export option and then we run kind of this super HD workflow from behind. And I would say the HD collider mesh is pretty close, 1-to-1 on alignment with the Gaussian splats. The basic one that generates within like a second is, yeah, I can take it with a grain of salt, but it's not perfectly aligned. You know, the basics of it is aligned, but there's some parts where it doesn't align perfectly.
Perfect. I think we have a similar question. What is the accuracy of 3D collider meshes that you're able to generate? I think same question. Camilo Cortez is asking, I'm using Nerve Studio running on local to generate the environment splat, real cities and some forests, but it's demanding in local resources and sometimes not the best quality. Do you know any other workflow or app I can use for better splats, fast or less demanding running on local only? I'm using high quality images that works perfect on Bentley, RC, 3D flow, photogrammetry constructions, but not so much on Nerve Studio. I just want to mention that right after Ian, we have XGRIDS and Opus Labs 3D reconstruction session as well. But Ian, happy to hear if you have anything to chime in here.
Yeah, I guess I don't know too much of the workflow that was stated there. So I might lend this to XGRIDS for kind of the reconstruction experts themselves. You know, that being said, you can certainly upload images to Marble that you've taken, or 360 images to reconstruct a singular space. Sorry if that didn't answer the question too much. I guess it was kind of
yeah, it's like a
tough to understand. Yeah.
Yeah, because as everyone know, right, there are two types of splats. One of them is coming directly from word models like word labs, but another is directly from this reality scans, 3D reconstruction, which the good news is we did everything back to back so that we can also make both word model and 3D GS reconstruction like experts and enthusiasts happy. So yeah, we will answer this question with Lucas Mirocha from Opus Lab. He is one of the top experts on that, so he will definitely guide you to the right direction. Hai Song is asking, is there any spatial sound in the word model generation?
As of right now, there's not. So some of the spatial sounds that I added were generated via 11 Labs. And then, you know, with Fable, it was able to kind of place those sounds, talking specifically to that robot roommate's environment, which is pretty cool. Like with Fable, it kind of understood, like for the disco room, that's where the spatial sound would be placed. So when my robot walked into there, like that's when the disco sound started. And when I left, it would go back to kind of the elevator music of the game.
Amazing.
So yeah, not as of right now, but certainly something that we're looking into.
Okay. Can word models create data to train robotics models like for humanoid or autonomous cars?
Yes, very much so. So we have a lot of different customers that use Marble to generate massive amounts of data. And by data, I mean 3D environments. So for a lot of these robotics companies, they need, you know, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of different 3D environments of like kitchens per se, or city streets, etc. And so this Marble essentially allows you to, you know, generate these 3D environments at a very large scale. And yeah, to answer the question, the amount of simulation that people can run the robots on in these environments is what's really helpful.
I think it will be like robotics will be probably top 3 use cases of word models and 3D.js in the next
agreed.
few years. So
agreed.
Yes. So who knows? Maybe we will also have something about that in the future. Let's see. Carol is asking, how quickly can the render change a piece in the splat of a new splat?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that question. So how quick can a render change a piece of a splat?
Piece in the splat of a new splat. How quickly can the render change a piece in the splat of a new splat?
Yeah, I guess this could be more of like a visual question. I guess I got to answer it in 2 ways. If you're trying to change like a section of a splat in the render, like I mean, you can certainly change the colors or tweak the colors of splats. And or, I mean, with the LOD, right, like you can certainly change the amount of LOD you want to put on the splat itself. If you want to optimize it more, you can make the LOD a bit more obvious. If you want it like super high detail, you know, for example, when I will send out a public project, like I'll change the LOD to be pretty high just so that it can run on any sort of device.
Perfect, perfect. Daniel is asking, could create collider meshes from reality scan 3DGS? Could we create collider meshes from reality scan 3DGS?
Yeah, and I think that question was already asked, but on a high level, you can't do it via Marble workflow. You have to do it via a generated world in Marble and then create a collider mesh. But we do have there's open source examples to create collider meshes for 3DGS.
Perfect. Can you upload multiple images to Marble for scene reconstruction?
Yeah. Yeah, so you can upload multiple images, and essentially what the video input is doing is we're essentially extracting images from frames in a video to then reconstruct the scene. So you can do it via video, or you can also upload you know, a group of photos. And this is what I've done personally to kind of restylize my apartment, as I've taken photos of my living room, reconstruct it, and then in Marble been able to stylize it to a different type of interior design, and then get to reconstruct that environment in 3DGS.
Would you need to stitch the images together, or?
You don't. So if it's kind of a singular environment, you don't. If you're doing multiple different rooms, then yes. As of right now, you'd have to do like my bedroom and then maybe my living room. But my living room and kitchen is a pretty open area, so I just can take images of that environment and then it reconstructs it.
Perfect. Dave is asking, what is the best renderer for G-splats for Unity?
I don't have it at the top of my mind right now. I'll have to reference the starter kit, or we do have it listed in our documentation on the Marble website. So I'm happy to share that. But we have a list of 2 to 3 different renderers for Unity specifically.
Okay. Camilo is asking, WordLabs does WordLabs have a non-public solution encrypted for intelligence environments reconstructions?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Does WordLabs have a non-public solution encrypted for intelligence environments reconstructions?
Yeah, I guess the question is if we have like an open source version to reconstruct environments.
Non-public solution. Does WordLabs have a non-public solution? It says encrypted for intelligence environments reconstructions.
Yeah, I guess to best of my ability to answer that, a non-public, I guess Marble is non-public and you can reconstruct environments. Sorry, I guess I'm trying to understand that question better, but
maybe Camilo, you can repeat the question one more time. We will come back to that. In extension to the last questions, training robots will require accurate data. Are we be able to reach that point now using Marble? How accurate the Marble output now for robots? I think that's the question.
Yeah, so I can certainly say, like, we've had a lot of robotics customers have success in training robotic simulations and how Marble currently stands. So yeah, to answer that question, like we've had, you know, customers that generate massive amounts of data and environments and then train their robots, and they've had success with it at the current fidelity.
Perfect. Anthony is asking, can you upload CAD drawings, front side, top views of a site, and have WordLabs generate the environment based from that reference?
So this, from just kind of the best input images, having perspective is really important. The model needs to read space kind of with a perspective vision. So if you're uploading like a flat kind of side profile of a building, especially if there's not a lot of detail in it, it will generate, you just may not have the best success. We've had like mixed outputs with kind of that workflow. So I would, best suggest like if you can get kind of more of a perspective input, you'll have better output.
Perfect. And Stephanie is asking, can you input 360 pano images?
Yes, 100%. So you can upload 360 pano images, and then you can also edit those and customize them. And again, like something I've done in my living room, right? Like I've taken a 360 pano, and then I can like change that into different interior design styles.
Amazing. Vishal is asking, as a developer building editing tools on top, what does the output actually expose? A raw, PLI, SPZ, blob, or object and semantic structure with an editing SDK?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we actually have a lot of customers that are building products on top of Marble with our API. And that you can find on our website as well on the very top, which will lead you to our documentation. And with that, you're able to export PLY, SPZ, you're able to export the collider mesh. And there's a kind of a longer list of all these little attributes you tweak, but also kind of like what you input. You can allow users to input a single image, multiple images, a pano. You can use API to also like edit images. So it's kind of like that whole workflow of input, editing, customization, and then also the output of like what you get from that. And so with kind of those selection of workflows, people have built some pretty compelling products so far with Marble.
Amazing. Sorry, we have a lot of questions and interest.
No, this is great. These are all great questions.
We can always continue at the hack, but I just don't want to, because it looks like the chat is also helping each other answering questions. So we already started the community.
Too. So that's the best.
The hack started even on the chat right now. So Richard is asking, will we be able to scan 3D GS using Quest 3 headset in the future, or is mobile phones in the best easiest option?
Yeah, I guess not totally related to Marble, but a great question. For scanning specifically, like my favorite go-to app on the phone is Scaniverse. It's like fun fact, I helped design some of the UX of that at Niantic, and it's free. So that is a great app to use. I've also tested scanning on the Quest 3 via their kind of workflows, and also it's really compelling too. So and then Marble, what's great about Marble is like you don't need a device. You can just take a photo, and so the accessibility on Reconstruction there is really easy.
Lucas, maybe right after you may also answer this, and it's directly 3D reconstruction question. Grace has one more question. How are you stitching splats together to extend them? Is that something we can build on within our own apps? This is actually a little bit interesting question, because if the splats coming from a word model, right? So stitching them versus asking Word Labs to extend that, which one like you that makes sense actually? This interesting actually, like a dilemma, I would say. How would you approach that?
Yeah, no, this is a great question. So to help answer that, as of right now, we do have like what we call the expand feature in Marble. So starting from your initial image, you're able to move a certain distance from the center of your environment to then regenerate another part of your environment to extend it. But as of right now, that's kind of the extent of automatic kind of stitching is what we call it. So once you have kind of that one generation expanded, you can also do it in different directions, but you're kind of still stuck to this diameter that you can expand out to. And then from there, you will have to do manual reconstruction. And so this is certainly something that we've gotten a lot of feedback on that, people don't want to have to go through that manual process of stitching scenes together or combining them all together. To answer your question, you can do the scene expand, which will get you part of the way there. but to get kind of larger worlds, you will have to manually stitch them together. But we are very much working on making that feature and workflow much easier and much more automated than it currently is.
Amazing. Tianyu has another question. For your example of bedroom kitchen scene reconstruction, how many photos needed? Just one photo? How long did it take for that kind of home space? What is the compute infrastructure on your end?
Yeah, so great question as well. You can, and this is kind of up to the workflow, right? So, for example, I've done one photo where I just take a photo of my living room where my couch is, etc., and then I'm generating that scene. And what I did, and these are two separate use cases, but I just took one photo, generated what my furniture looked like, and then for fun, I put it into my VR headset and then aligned it to my living room so that I could walk through it in physical / digital space with my VR headset on. And I just wanted to see my furniture. So that was good enough for me. That being said, if you want to reconstruct your living room one-to-one, you will need that data of a full 360 pano if you want to make sure everything is how it is in the real world. Because if you just upload one image, the back of that will, Marble will generate what it thinks that backside is going to look like. So the more data you can put in, the better output you're going to get. So you can take one photo if that works for you, or for me, I took 6 photos going around in a circle to get more data, and then the reconstruction was pretty close one-to-one of my living room.
What is your best workflow for touch-ups, cleaning up localized areas of hallucination? Would expand work from there? If you don't need to extend it, just improve areas that already exist?
Yeah, so I think best to answer that question, if you're having hallucinations in your generated 3D GS scenes, it's best to start from the beginning of the workflow. Make sure that the inputs is correct, or even if you upload an image and then it generates a 360 pano, editing within that 360 pano first before you get to the 3D GS stage. Because if the input is solid, you're gonna have better outputs. Instead of getting the output and then trying to edit from there, it's possible, but it's just kind of harder of a workflow.
Camilio give some more context to his question. I'm meaning if I create showcase and for military training purposes, do you have some solution that for that public can't view it or use it? So I think
I
he means
see. Sorry.
feeding data to Word Labs. So
great question. Sorry about my misunderstanding there. Yeah, so we certainly allow you to set private generations and private inputs. So that means no one else. Yeah, so the Explore page that you see on Marble right now is specifically people who have enabled public access, and or they're on the free tier and just are generating worlds. So you can certainly have the ability to set it private so that you can only see these generations, or when you share it with somebody else, they can only see it and nobody else.
Okay. We have a few more questions left. If you are still okay.
No, of course.
Vishal is asking, is the collider mesh whole scene or per object? And does the API expose any semantic or instance labels on the field, or is object selection left entirely to the developer?
Yeah, great question as well. So as of right now, Marble generates a kind of persistent and cohesive 3D environment. So there is no segmentation. That being said, that's feedback that we've gotten a bunch of, and we are certainly looking into that. We also had a designer on our team who built out open source GitHub called Image Blaster that essentially uses other tooling. It creates a Marble environment, and then what it will do is it will segment objects within the scene and then generate that using FAL to create 3D models, and then also adds physics to it so that you to your point, you're able to segment what objects you want out, like for example, a chair or a table or a pot that are not baked into the scene.
Yes, Image Blaster, amazing, from Nelson, right? He's
Yeah,
amazing.
correct. Yeah.
I think our team a little bit mentioned about that as well in the future workflow discussion. So that's great. Kyle is asking SPZ or SOG? Which one you prefer? Or
Oh,
for which
I mean,
purpose?
personally, I'm just a fan of SPZ. One, because I got to work on creating that file type at Niantic, so that I'm maybe a bit biased, but also it's just really optimized for the web, and I'm a huge fan of the web. So SPZ for me. That being said, I love all file types for 3D GS.
Exactly. Vishal is asking, is the collider, yeah, we already talked about that. Yinan is asking how to generate two worlds that are identical on the location, but only has one wall using different splats. Editing on Peno that generate the world seems shifting the world a bit.
Yeah, maybe it's like seeing some visuals for that would be helpful. I will say that Rit, our creative artist, has built a tool where she's able to like mirror splats. And for her, it's been like really helpful in building out environments, especially if like one part of the splat looks really good and you just want to get the exact mirrored or like flipped version of that splat. So she's got this workflow that she's been using to kind of build out those environments.
That's great. Let's definitely bring that up in the hackathon. Yinan is
Yeah.
also one of our prominent hackers. She also won one of the tracks last time. So she's really into that. Thank you, Yinan. Dave, any plans to support VRS file ingestion coming from Hyperscape Capture Meta?
As of right now, I'll have to. I haven't experimented too much with Hyperscape, so I can't speak like personally to that. If they make it the ability to integrate it with like Spark.js, I mean, I think we'd be happy to collaborate on that. But really, like the web or Spark.js from our side is we're supporting as much as we can.
Amazing, amazing. I think we have two questions left. One of them is how many World Labs credits we will get. I think just enough, because we will also, even free tier also provides a lot of opportunities, but we will provide a lot of World Labs credits. From last hackathon, we understand how much demand is happening, so we will definitely make sure that it will be ready. And for the winners of the World Labs category, you will also get more so that you can continue your work after the hack. Kamil is asking who owns credit to model splat. I don't know, like credits. It's who's owned. I think the ownership, I guess. Kamil is asking.
Who owns the credits for like, I guess Marble, is that the question?
Who owns credit to model splat? I think as far as I understand, who is owning the splat being generated? I think the user itself, right?
Yeah, so I guess if that goes back to like the public-private question, like once you generate the splat, it's your ownership on depending on like what plan. Yeah.
Perfect.
But
yeah,
I think we have some more info on our website about that. And then for the credits, we're super excited to help out with a bunch of credits, both for free max plans for Marble, and then also API credits for people who want to integrate it into their products. So yeah, both if you want to generate environments and stitch them together and build a really cool world, or if you want to build a product on top of the tooling we have on our API.
Exactly. That's amazing. One last question, let's finish
of course.
the time. Is it better to upload combined HDR images or upload multiple bracket images to Marble?
So sorry, what was the bracketed images? What was that second?
Bracketed images to is it better to upload combined HDR images or upload multiple bracketed images to Marble?
I guess it depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, if you're and what you're able to do, right? Like if you're reconstructing your living room, I would go to that example. Like if you want it to be exactly 1-to-1, then I think you should grab a 360 pano of the living room, because then you can capture every single detail. Or I mean, you can upload a couple photos, but just know, like, behind the scenes, we're generating the connection between those images, so that again, we're I guess hallucinating those connections that we don't have data to, so that it may be like a digital cousin, I like to say, where if you don't have the full data input, like, we're gonna generate those parts of the input that we don't understand or we don't have.
Yeah, perfect.
So
One last question: Will Word Labs or Marble host on Reactor?
I do not know yet. I know one of my close friends works at Reactor, so we will certainly need to talk to them about that. But it would be cool. More experiments and more creative use cases I could certainly see happening.
Perfect. Evo is asking, thank you for answering production questions regarding ownership, IP, and creator clearances. If files are able to be used in a wider array of projects, such as broadcast media, help us clear for storytelling and distribution. Let's follow up in person in LA. I think this is the perfect last question.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I think we almost 50 questions. So I think we are really great answering all of them. Thank you, Ian.
Of course.
It was a little bit longer than expected, but I think it was worth it. Apparently, the hype is real, the interest is real. So let's bring this interest to something tangible at the hackathon.
Yes, and thank you so much for having me, and thank you to the community. And I'm excited to see some really cool projects. I've already been blown away by all the hackathon projects I've seen this year. So I know there's going to be some awesome ones next weekend.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Word Labs. And hopefully we will see the Word Labs team at the hack, mentoring, judging. So happy to also continue the conversation there. Thanks for your time for today, and looking forward to seeing you in the next 10 days.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Perfect. So we are now from Word Labs and Word Models. Now we are having the 3D reconstruction part, which is also, we have seen a lot of questions about the 3D reconstruction. Lucas, if you can hear us, because XGRIDS team is doing an amazing job of bringing a lot of opportunity. Hello. And Lucas from Opus Lab 3D, they are one of the few studios that actually combine word models, 3D GS reconstruction, and lots of other superpowers under the same project. They have a very interesting SIGGRAPH approach project. So I would like to give the stage to Lucas to talk a little bit about that project, and also about how we can take a workflow as a key takeaway today, that we can utilize the XGRIDS camera in the best way possible. Stage is yours.
Sure. Thank you very much for having me. It's a little bit late because I'm hailing from Hong Kong, so I get like 3 brain cells left. But let's push. Can you see my screen? You should see my test screen.
Yes, we can see your screen. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Let's roll then. So my name is Lucas. I'm a director of Opus Lab. It's a boutique R&D and design studio, and we are pushing the limits of 3D design, broadly understood. I'm also a faculty member at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, and I'm a Dell Pro Precision ambassador. More on that later in the presentation. So I've spent the last 10 years hacking, breaking game engines, mainly Unity, Unreal, to design real-time animations, procedural content, XR experiences. I've been doing virtual production before it was cool. So that was the knowledge that I took when I finally discovered radiance fields and 3DGS in 2023. And actually, for the last three years, both with Opus Lab and academically, I've been exploring this realm. So I think that right now we have a huge question. How the convergence of capture-based and synthetic 3D content generation reshape creative practices, and very, very broadly understood. So we're talking both visualization, we talk storytelling, gaming. This is the big question that together with my team we've been trying to answer. Since Ian showcased some real-time demos, I was like, how about me as well? So if you have if you're on a computer right now, you can I send the link. You can visit the spatial home of Opus Lab. Over there, you'll find some interesting demos and use cases. Captured splats. We have a great comparison between Marble and other 3D generative tools. So just feel free to browse, feel free to explore that. But this is our main topic today. So when we look at 3DGS, we basically have two options. Either we can synthesize it, we can generate it, and this is what Ian has been showing. So we can use tools like WordLab's Marble to create 3DGS assets directly from text or from image prompts. And so technically no real world reference is needed. And on the left-hand side, you see a screenshot from one of the 3DGS assets we generated with Marble for our creative project Threads of Color. And on the right, you see a Portal Cam, XGRIDS Portal Cam 3D scan. And actually, this is one of the scans that we will be sharing for the hackathon participants to use. I totally see a nice FPS shooter made in that urbex space. So, and if we concentrate on the capture 3DGS, on the 3DGS that comes from real life objects and real life environments, again, we have two options. We can either use RGB only capture, which is a fancy way of saying that you can use any kind of lens. So I saw in the chat there were questions about Quest, there were questions about drones, there were questions about 360 cameras. So this all works for, of course, different fidelity levels, different workflows, but whatever has anything that has any kind of lens or a photo camera can be used to actually make 3DGS content. But on the other end of the spectrum, there's also the SLAM way. So you can actually leverage SLAM scanners, which is about simultaneous localization and mapping. And those scanners, they combine the potential of RGB cameras. So as you can see here, we have spherical lenses here, and they are also equipped with LiDAR. So thanks to this, we not only capture what the camera can see in the visible spectrum, but we can also capture all the geometry, all the hard surfaces. And this opens up a very interesting workflow for actually having quite accurate collisions and meshes that are quite helpful for accurate lighting calculations. I think all the game engine and Blender people already know what I'm talking about. So if we have two workflows, if we can just use your iPhone, why would we bother with SLAM scanners? So this is a comparison. So RGB only capture, it definitely wins on accessibility and speed for small isolated assets, where visual look matters more than metric precision. Here, this is a screen grab from one of our early projects. That was one of the first creative 3DGS projects. It's called Liminal Constellations. It was presented last year at SIGGRAPH Vancouver. What you see at the end of the video, it was actually a 3D print by one of the hackathon partners, Krista AI. More on that at the hackathon, I suppose. And if we want to capture a larger space, a bigger environment, then the best way is to use the SLAM scanner. So then we have accurate collisions alongside very accurate, high detailed visual visual layer assets as well, because we get all the spatial relationships and collisions and geometry accurately reconstructed as it really exists in real world. And since Ian was showcasing 40 million splats, I'm gonna beat it with 49 million splats rendered in a browser. This scan comes from XGRIDS portal cam scan. And the Arrival Space team actually managed to offer a workflow that we could leverage, and based on that, we could host 49 million splats. This is SOG format, so there was a question here: SPZ versus SOG. As you can see, it really depends on your workflow. It really depends on your use case. Both formats are quite nicely optimized for web use cases. And if we talk about SLAM scanners, XGRIDS is the way to go. I've been using XGRIDS scanners for the last 2 years for most of both my personal projects and the projects we do for our clients. So how the workflow looks like, you'll be able to experience this in full during the hackathon, but there are generally 4 steps. So first you have to scan it, scan an environment, scan an object. Then you need to process it. There is a dedicated software provided by XGRIDS for reconstruction. It's called LCC Studio. It only works currently on a PC, on a Windows machine with NVIDIA GPU, because there's some CUDA magic involved. There's also a cloud-based reconstruction. I think it's currently still in beta, but XGRIDS will soon roll it out for general public to use. And then there is the third phase, is actually edit or export. And the XGRIDS just released their dedicated editing suite, LCC Scene and Model Editor. This is something that I will demonstrate during the pre-hack lecture as well. But you can also use other well-known splat-based tools. You can use SuperSplat for editing or for merging different 3D GS assets. You can also use Lichtfield Studio or Lichtfeld Studio for animation or for other splat use cases. And I think the last stage that's really interesting for the community here, you can actually implement those scans in a game engine, either Unity or Unreal. And there are 2 ways. XGRIDS offers dedicated SDKs, both for Unity and for Unreal, but you can also use any kind of third-party SDK or plugin. For example, one of the partners of the hackathon, Volinga, they offered a great Unreal 5 plugin with some relighting options. This is really applicable to VFX and virtual production use cases. So stage 1. So this is scanning. And what you're seeing here is it's actually me scanning some murals in downtown Hong Kong that will later on they will be turned into 3D assets in an interactive experience that Opus Lab is currently making in a collaboration with HTC. On the left-hand side, you can see me scanning and examining the scan just before saving it. And on the right hand side, you see a screen grab from my iPhone. Actually, this is a real-time visualization of me walking in a park and scanning the park. And what you see in real time right now, it's actually point cloud that's being generated in real time using the SLAM approach. Then stage 2, so processing, so LCC Studio. As you can see, you have different options, and currently it's capped at 50 million splats. leveraging Dell Pro Max T2 with RTX 6000. I have lots of VRAM. I have 96 gigs of VRAM to use, so I usually crank it up at max and then downgrade whenever I need. But you can really reconstruct very large spaces quite accurately. Stage 3, so edit export. As you can see, there is a screenshot from Super Splat here. So then you can export actually your XGRIDS 3D reconstructions either as a non-compressed PLY or as an LCC. There's also because I remember there are some robotics people in the crowd. You can also export USD assets, so you can take it straight into Omniverse and more industry use cases and robotics use cases. What you can also export, since there were questions about collisions and meshes, you can also export highly detailed OBJ file that can be used alongside your splat asset, again, for collisions and for lighting calculations in 3D software. And implementation, Marble is here. Actually, this is quite ancient by today's standards. What you see in the biggest screen grab here is actually an Unreal 5 scene. And here I combined the Portal scan and the Marble beta. That was because I did it in September, October, so very, very, very early on in the history of Marble. I basically took a photo of the same street and then I scanned this street, and just to see if there's any uncanny valley, how those real life splats and the generated splats would talk to one another. And that was also an illustration of XGRIDS Unreal 5 SDK. There's also top view. You can also see this is an older XGRIDS scanner, Lixel K1, and here we scanned in the historical mansion here in Hong Kong for a cultural heritage project. And we needed both a digital twin level of geometrical accuracy and a good enough visual representation. So that's why we opted for a SLAM scanner, and we didn't rely only on RGB data. So again, it really depends on your use case and on the industry that you're working in. So just to summarize, we are currently developing threads of color. This is two kinds of spatial memory in one experience. It's gonna be a spatial exploration, an urban experience set in downtown Hong Kong, and it's gonna be powered only by 3DGS. And the surface, let's call it level 1, will be composed of photorealistic SLAM captures of murals, dozens of murals in downtown Hong Kong. And the underground, you may call it dungeon level, will come from AI synthesized dungeon network that's going to be built beneath the streets. And it's going to be a walking sim meets treasure hunt kind of mechanics. And it's going to be developed. It's being developed by us right now. We are backed by Vivers. We are also supported by XGRIDS with full portfolio of their scanners for different use cases. Again, at the hackathon, I'll be able to talk a little bit more on that. My role with Dell and with NVIDIA, so we're going to leverage all the local processing power. I do remember there are questions about how you can actually use local gear to make your splat, so we will be leveraging that. And we are super happy that World Labs decided to help us out on the 3D GS synthesis front. We are also testing. So we are right now. We're testing both Spark and Play Canvas. We haven't really decided yet. It's going to be decided soon. But no matter what we choose, we're quite optimistic on the delivery, on the possibility of actually making a fully fledged interactive experience made only of splats. And just to close it, so on the left-hand side, you see a Marble 1.1 Plus. That's going to be actually the first splat from the dungeon level from that game. And on the right-hand side, you see a level 1 made out of XGRIDS scans blocked out. So this is the current stage of the experience. Probably when we meet next week in LA, I'll be able to show you a little bit more because things are progressing every day. We are pushing things forward. So thank you very much. I'm open to take questions. If you want to get in touch with me, the best way is to use LinkedIn. And please do check out Opus Lab websites to learn more. So thank you very much.
Amazing, Lucas. Thank you very much for this 3D reconstruction focused topics. I think what you guys are building with word models and with the 3D reconstruction is amazing. I don't know if there are so much other projects like that, so I'm really looking forward to hearing more about the updates about that. So there was actually one question before from Camilio. Would you like to answer that first? So it was a little bit long question. We can start with that. Um, I'm using Nerve Studio running on local to generate the environment splat, real cities, and some forests, but it's demanding in local resources and sometimes not the best quality. Do you know any other workflow app I can use for better splats, fast or less demanding, running on local only? I'm using high quality images that works perfect on Bentley, RC, 3D flow photogrammetry constructions, but not so much on Nerve Studio.
So whenever I'm using just RGB only workflows, I would usually combine a reality scan to do the alignment, and then I would train everything in Lichtel Studio. So the famous open source Lichtel Studio. It's the most stable local solution right now. And what is even more important is this is open source and community driven. They really implement the latest research and the latest algorithms quite fast. So if you want the latest approaches, I think Lichtel Studio is the way to go. Of course, there is also post-shot. I think post-shot would be better for, roughly speaking, creative industries, because I know lots of VFX studios that would use post-shot because they have some, special features that really that are really important for industries that are interested in the highest possible image quality, like EXR, 16-bit, and so on.
Perfect, perfect. So there are a few more questions. This is something maybe interesting for you. What would you recommend for cleaning up splats captured using iPhone 360 cam or normal camera?
I would recommend to focus on the capturing, actually. So, garbage in, garbage out. So actually, if you're just using RGB, it's super important to have as clean data set as possible. So this is if I can, I usually concentrate on having good data, because as many of you know, it's quite painful and time consuming to manually clean any floaters or glitches or image artifacts. So I just try to scan as in a as good as possible. And I see one question here, and I need to address it. So Arrival Space is same company under Opus Lab? No, it's not. We are so Arrival Space, they provide state-of-the-art hosting for Splat assets and for Splat-based web experiences. So we are one of the companies that collaborate with them. So we're not those are different entities, but we're good friends.
What is the projected completion for Threads of Color?
So it's Q4 this year.
Amazing. Keep us updated. We are really excited to hear about them.
Yes, we will buy weekly updates.
Amazing, amazing. Kamil is asking, does the LCC work with captures from other devices, drones, camera, iPhone?
Since very recently, yes. There is an option to upload. I don't have the numbers in my head right now, but you can upload a few minutes long video, and then the LCC Studio will extract frames from it, and based on that, it will reconstruct 3D.js. From drones, up until very recently, only pro drones with RTK. But right now, I know the XGRIDS has introduced some changes, but I haven't followed up on that one. So I don't know if
Okay.
if consumer drones are supported at this point.
Kyle is asking, SOG versus SPZ, does it really matter for storage, or what really matters is actually the runtime ready format for WebXR or Unity VR app?
I mean, I've been using more SOG because we're quite deeply in play canvas based workflows these days, like the last few weeks. But whenever I would use and of course credit to Scaniverse and to Ian with many of my students, actually the first contact with 3D.js is and was through Scaniverse. So then we would work with SPZ. So it really depends. I think it really depends on the workflow and on the environment that you're working with. That's why, despite all the great compressions that 3D.js currently has, I'm always a big fan that any kind of tool, any kind of service that deals with 3D.js should still offer uncompressed PLYs, because it's not the ideal format, but this is still the format that's super helpful in moving between workflows and moving between ecosystems.
Kyle is asking, Decimate versus other 3D.js compression methods.
Excuse me, could you repeat that?
Decimate versus other 3D.js compression methods.
I mean, there was I think 1 year ago, I do remember there was this decimation trend before the SOG came into being, and I did experiment with that. But since the new formats came with the Octree chunk streaming, like Ian was explaining, I kind of stopped doing the decimation. So something might have changed since last year. But I cannot comment on that. There's I always joke with Michael Rubloff that 1 year ago it used to be 5 ratings fields papers a day. Now it's 15 or even 25. So it's super hard to keep up, actually. So there might be some great tools that nobody heard about yet. That's why it's so important to come to SIGGRAPH and to meet those researchers. So you're gonna be one of the first ones who will have this knowledge, actually.
Okay, Kyle is asking construction and manufacturing benefits, advantages for SLAM 3D.js LiDAR with XGRIDS. Are you seeing any construction manufacturing benefits?
So XGRIDS, actually the roots of XGRIDS is in construction, is in AEC. So they have the K2 scanner and L2 Pro scanners, and those are super pro industry grade reality capture scanners. But I'm not an industry reality capture guy, so I cannot. I'm more of a creative industries, so I can comment on that. But definitely those reality capture oriented scanners that they have, they are state of the art. They have RTKs built in. Yeah, all the things that are necessary.
Kamini is asking, I think, similar question. Do you know any other workflow or app I can use for better splats, fast or less demanding running on local only? And he saying that your work is absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate it, and of course my team as well. Yeah, so as I said, reality scan and then Lichtfield. That would be my Q2 2027. Things might change next month. But Q2 2026 or 766. Yeah, it's 3:30 a.m. Sorry, guys.
Sorry. But yeah, things are changing very fast. Uh, we have a few more questions left. Lucas, sorry for making you a little bit awake, but um,
No worries. I'm already adjusting to the LA time. So
time zone, exactly,
yeah.
like me, perfect. Joseph is asking, splats can be converted into meshes?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
They can. There are a couple. I don't have them in my head right now. But there are several open source tools that can do it. But for creative industries, people in the crowd, there are several tools as well to turn very heavy mesh and texture based Unreal scenes into splats. So you can actually, and there are some plugins for Blender as well. So if you have a super heavy static scene in Unreal or in Blender, you can convert them into splats and then use all these great compression tools. And instead of having a super heavy scene, that's hundreds of megabytes, you have a 50 meg file that you can share. So there are different conversions that you can leverage actually.
Amazing. Stephanie is asking, for object export format, are textures and colors baked in?
So in splats, there's good news and there's bad news. Good and there's a news. So there are no textures in splats because each individual splat has color values embedded. So you don't work with textures, you work with millions of blobs actually. That's why one of the main challenges these days is to come up with a way to relight splats. Because right now, of course, Ian might know something more, but he can't share probably. But many great teams right now are working on ways on how we can actually work with different lighting in Splat. So because right now it works more or less like baked lighting.
Perfect. Daniel is asking, typically I do full 80 MP 4K photo capture rather than video as the compressor that compresses each frame, but I feel like what I'm missing is LiDAR data without having to buy a dedicated LiDAR SLAM camera. Is there a combo that can be done?
I've seen some thinkers online. You can follow Adam Hafkin. He's been experimenting with, and of course Andriy Shramko as well. Andriy Shramko. Uh, they've been experimenting with different kinds of rigs and strange, obscure setups to actually find an interesting angle. I haven't experimented with that. There's only 7 days in a week, and if I find a tool that it's working, I, I
You stick with
I
it.
tend to use it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
tend to use
exactly,
it.
exactly. Perfect. Another question, splats can be converted into meshes. I think we already
Yeah.
talked about that. Um, okay, why real scan instead of meta shape? What are your thoughts on 360 cameras like Osmo? or recent 360 drones as capture methods?
So again, a lot has changed in the 360 domain regarding splats. This area has been dormant for the first 2 years of splats, and a lot has happened over the last few months. I haven't looked into that yet too much, but there are several companies working on that. For example, you can check out Splatica. They offer cloud-based 3DGS reconstruction from Insta 360. So there are pipelines forming right now. There's also anti-gravity drone from Insta. So definitely, this is a viable way uh, of achieving pretty convincing 3DGS. I just haven't experimented with it for the last 3-4 months, and knowing the pace of development, I have like ancient knowledge at this point, so I can't comment on that right
Okay.
now.
How much, I mean, let's be quickly finish that in the next 60 seconds, 2 minutes. How much AI compatible is Opus Labs? I think you are very well AI compatible as Opus Lab.
We are AI compatible, but we are humans.
Exactly.
We are still humans. You will see in LA flesh and bone.
Flash, exactly, exactly. So that's why we are doing in-person hackathons, right? Otherwise, we will not understand who is human, who is not. Kamil is asking, what would you recommend to use for cleaning up splats based on RGB captures?
I mean, I've seen some, again, I haven't tested yet, but I've seen some very interesting tools that merge diffusion-based models with put on top of, like, ingested into the 3D reconstruction pipeline. So I think very interesting things will, like, on the automation side, will be coming in a few months. NVIDIA at SIGGRAPH, they will be presenting RT. I shared it on LinkedIn today. Art Fixer.
Okay.
Uh, yes, I think it's Art. I'll check it because this is.
Our team will look at your LinkedIn, today's post. We'll
Yes,
post it.
yes. So there will be a paper and a code and demo by NVIDIA, and they've been combining RGB based splats with the diffusion models to clean up floaters and clean up reconstruction artifacts. So I think we will have to be even more AI compatible in the 3DGS domain.
Perfect, perfect. So, one last question for you. What is your opinion on 4D splats, video splats?
I think it's amazing. It's a lot of things are happening behind the curtains, and I can't talk about them at this point. But fingers crossed, and I really believe that unlike VR, was it called VR cinema? Or there was a time like 10 years ago they tried to convert every legacy movie into 360 or like VR. I don't
Stereoscopic,
remember.
stereoscopic.
Yeah, stereoscopic.
Yeah,
Yes. And this didn't work out, as we know.
yeah,
And I'm a firm believer that for DGS will finally bring us into the era of widespread spatial media. Because there are great teams. You can check out Gracia AI, you can check out
yeah.
4DV AI, and many more companies that are pushing the absolute limits with even streaming for DGS over web right now.
Amazing, amazing. Yes, that's great. I think we have one more question, which is related with me and the XGRIDS team. I think Faye is here with us. I don't know if you can hear us, Faye, but
Yes, I can.
yeah, perfect, perfect. So,
Hello.
thank you
Hi,
for
Lucas.
joining as well. I know that XGRIDS is really committed to 3D reconstruction, and then you are also committed to the hack as well. So, we would love to really see interesting XGRIDS powered projects. One question was, can I take it for 2 days? it may not be possible, but for 2 hours, it is possible, definitely. We want to make
Yeah.
sure that you others can also use that because we have so many hundreds of hackers and still limited number of XGRIDS devices, but we will do our best to maintain. So I strongly recommend our team will
Mm-hmm.
share the form for loaning from us. So it's like you will book your camera for free. You will give your ID card, and then we will provide the camera to you for a few hours. So please talk with our team because they can basically submit to the form to our team so that they can already maintain the possibilities with you. With the XGRIDS team, I think we will do our best to make sure that you guys can really capture as much as you can before the hack. Because during hack time, you will not have enough time. So we want to make sure we maintain that as early as possible.
And
That's great.
one last message from me, wearing the teacher hat right now. Whatever device you use for 3DGS capturing, you should always walk slower than you think you should be walking. So walk slower.
That's a good point. Yeah, you
Say
need to have a
anything you
lot
want to
of
share
patience.
as XGRIDS? Anything you want
Ex-
to any advice or anything you would like to share before we move to the next session?
yeah, so we will bring a few units, so both the Pork and the K2. So if there's anyone want to test the K2 scanner, you can also get the 1 unit and before the hackathon. Yeah, before
Perfect.
SIGGRAPH.
Perfect. Yes, that's great. So we will be able to maintain as much as we can. And the good news is one lucky team will get a portal scan and then also take it as well. We also have some interesting for those who want to um, purchase this device as well after the hack. Let us know because we have a special thing that we are arranging with Faye. So make sure that for those who wants to have one of these devices, we would like to also support our hackers as well. So this is an amazing opportunity. Thank you, XGRIDS team, Faye. Thank you, Lucas, for making 3D reconstruction more accessible in terms of knowledge, in terms of making the hardware available. Our role is to make this basically superpowers come to an experimental playground. So we will probably see a lot of interesting use cases like your project, Lucas. So we will probably see each other at the hack in 10 days. I think our questions are over here, but I would like to thank to the team, and we will now understand how these splats can be much more contextually meaningful on a scene. Our team, I think Nigel is with us, so we will basically go through that. For those who will be in LA, if you will definitely benefit from the camera, but for those who are remotely joining, just make sure that you attach yourself to a team so you can use the splat coming from there. And as I mentioned, starting from today, if you have a camera, you can already start capturing. If not, you can already start capturing early next week, and you can already prepare your splats and word models before the hack. You don't need to wait for Saturday morning because it will take some time for you to prepare everything. We want to make sure that everything is ready by Saturday morning. Thank
Oh,
you, everyone. Thank you, Lucas.
yeah.
I think
Hi,
Nigel.
Farhan. One more
Thank you.
thing.
Thank you,
Yeah, I'd like
Faye.
to share. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. So I will before once the all the users they get the scanner, I can provide some LCC cloud code so they can upload data on cloud and processing on cloud. So that will be helpful for them to get the data sets.
Perfect. Lucas, we can also put that inside our workflow, right? 3D reconstruction workflow. So that's a nice idea.
Yeah, sure. So basically what they do with the cloud processing. So basically you don't need any kind of local computing power, and you usually have a scan reconstructed within an hour or 45 minutes. And then you can just download it as a normal 3DGS asset from the XGRIDS cloud, and the teams can work. with that asset.
Perfect.
Yeah, I can.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there is any kind of API. Faye would know. But just manual way you can do it. Basically, upload a process on XGRIDS clouds and then download the asset.
Yeah, you can also upload data right on your phone. So, yeah. Okay, great. I can share more information about the cloud processing procedures later.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what we can do is, anyways, we will have a session in the at the hack, so we can definitely use that session for this purpose as well. Definitely, that would be great. Our team will share also the form for you to book your slot for the camera next week. And thank you again, Faye and Lucas and Nigel. I don't know if you can hear us. We will be. Thank you, Lucas. Please rest well. We need you. Uh, great.
Thank you, Lucas.
Nigel, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. So
Perfect.
the next step is, yes, we have learned how to create these 3D objects, splats, but we are curious how to use that on tools, how we can actually bring it to an contextual environment, and how we can connect them together. So we already go through all these splats and word model part. Let's say in the next 1 hour, 15 minutes, we can maybe squeeze everything and then finish, and then make sure that this becomes one of the most interesting resources for the hackers. And Nigel, stage is yours. Let us know what's waiting for us in the menu to make all these splats 3D Gen AI something meaningful.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Can you see my screen already?
Yes, we can see that.
Okay, then let's directly start into the action. So yeah, I'm Nigel, Sense AI mentor, and I will share with you how you can make your splats more interactive with automatic workflows and pipelines, and also how to use them in different engines like Unity, Unreal, etc. WebXR. And yeah, if you didn't register up to now for our upcoming hackathon before we SIGGRAPH in Los Angeles, you should scan this QR code right now and take your chance to still register. And additional, we will have more of these sessions available. So with this QR code, you will find our upcoming sessions. Also tomorrow, we will have a session about Pico devices. So you should definitely try to join that. So yeah, just a bit of context about what we built and why we built it. So in world models in general, there's 4 different type of information or levels of information, and most of them are partly or fully solved, especially visual side. So for example, you use a world model to generate a world based on the text prompt or image, and you get a visual world back, like a splat, like we already saw it. And additional, in the second layer, you can get geometric information about it. For example, the collision map, which we already mentioned before, which you, for example, get from different world models. And with that, we can also include a lot of physical interactions with the splat itself, collision with it, running through the splat without falling through the ground and things like that. But there's one layer which was missing long time, and that is the semantic layer, understanding what is really inside of the splat. So not like just visually, but really getting positions of different elements inside of the splat, combining this information into logical workflows, use cases, etc. And yes, we was getting asked by a lot of hackers at our previous hackathon, like how they can do that. And at that time point, sadly, there was no solution available. And we are really happy to share with you our new kit, which you can use already from today. And also we will provide to you on the hackathon. And like you can see here, basically, you just upload, for example, a splat into our API, which we will provide to you on the site, or you can also run it locally. And you will find the 3D bounding boxes of your splat, so that you can build based on that interactions or showcases of products inside of it, or yeah, all kind of stuff. And I'm really looking forward to see all the cool use cases you build with that at the upcoming events. And exactly, before I show you more information about that, I just wanted to share with you shortly how the Splat Analyzer really works. So basically, we have a pipeline of 5 different steps. First, we do a rendering. So basically, we place a specific amount of cameras randomly inside of the splat. And these cameras, we rotate in random angles, looking into different directions. So we collect a lot of data about the splat before we even start into the real work. And this rendered images of the cameras, including the depth maps which we get from these, we will send into a detection step. In this detection step, we will basically search for 2D bounding box detections. So in each image, we search for a 2D detection, just traditional methods like, for example, OL as a model. Which is a zero-shot model, which means you don't need to train it for detecting a specific type of object, but you just give a different classes names like, oh, I want to detect plans, books, monitors, etc., and it can detect all of them because it was trained on a really big data set. And after this detection step, he will send both the data from the cameras, including the 2D bounding boxes from the second step, into a 3D model, which means it takes all of these detections and creates this 3D bounding boxes, which we saw before. And that is built, or for that we use the BoxerNet, which was a research project, and they built this BoxerNet, and we reuse that to get the 3D bounding boxes. And everything we do after that is clustering these bounding boxes together so that we get the correct position. And then we output to you a JSON file, which gives you the 3D position of the objects in the file, a label like monitor, plant, etc., and also the scale and rotation of the object. And yeah, just to show it a bit more visually, basically we just have a splat on the left side. We put it into Splat Analyzer, and we get a JSON file out with all the detections, which we can visualize in a lot of different tools. We have a visualizer already provided in our repository, like you can see on the right side, but you can also use any other engine because you have the raw data of the detections available. Exactly. And with that, I would like to jump into action to show you a bit practical what all of that means. So, like I already shared with you, that is our repository about the Splat Analyzer. And basically everything you need to do is just taking this URL, putting it into your Claude and telling Claude to analyze your Splat. As an alternative, we have here 3 different ways to run it, either directly on your Mac or your PC using NVIDIA GPUs, for example, or you can also host it as a own server. I would just share with you first hosting it as a own server. If you have a GPU server available, you could just host it as an application like that. You create an API key, which I already put in here, and you just upload a Splat, like this workshop file. And you give the classes which you are searching for in the Splat. You give extra information about it, and you just run the detection. As soon as this is done, you can basically just either download the JSON file to use it in your workflows, or you can directly view it here in 3D. I already opened the output of this one. So this one actually is this splat we just downloaded from WordLabs. So it's compatible to that. If it's loading, you can see a short preview here. Yes, so it's just a normal splat. And with our tool, we get basically bounding boxes of all the objects inside here of your monitor, for example. You can also see the detections on the right side. For example, if I wonder, okay, where's this lamp? I can just click on this eye icon and he will also show me where exactly these items are. Exactly. And with these bounding boxes, you could now build your own experiences. For example, I just built with Claude a small example here, and I just use a really simple prompt. Please build or use the Splat Analyzer to analyze my splat locally. Use the WordLabs API to generate a splat. Create a fantasy world where you need to have a portal and a door inside, and you need to run through the portal. And that's everything I just gave Claude. And that's the real advantage of Splat Analyzer, because not only you understand the splat now, but also your agent understands it. And finally, our agent is the first time ever able to understand the real metadata of the splat itself. I just prepared one example here. This is the local thing I built. I didn't need it to do anything itself, because he found this objects himself, the chest inside of this one, the door he found himself. And now he is already telling me the door is locked because I need to search for a key. I will click, I guess I'm not fully inside. Yeah, I will click on the box and I found the key and I jump in the next world. And all of this was completely autonomously built using just by the agent and WordLabs. He finds the position of this portal now inside of the splat using Splat Analyzer. And as soon as I'm close enough, he will tell me that I finished the game. Just one example how you could use that. Exactly. This is just the example I shared with you 1 second ago. So you can use your agent to fully generate the game. You don't need to position anything yourself. He can generate the splat itself using WordLabs, for example, and then find the objects himself inside of it and build experiences based on that. Another example built by Johannes, you can see here, one of the other mentors. He used our tool to find objects on a kitchen table, ingredients for a recipe, for example. You can maybe get information for a recipe, or like you can see the other example here from the sky, having scanned an entire city to count the houses, or actually there's some burnt down sites as well. So maybe even scanning damages in there and marking that. So that is really practical. And the other use case we have is like a spatial semantic connection. So what Johannes tried to build here is having connection between each of the elements. So basically, you know that the table is on top of the carpet, for example, or that the Christmas tree is standing on the table. And getting these type of spatial semantic connections, I think that's a really cool use case and would really like to see more about that. Yes, if we are already talking about splats and practical use cases we can build with that, we also wanted to share with you Image Blaster, another project which was shared in the community showcase by WordLabs. And basically in Image Blaster, you can yeah, it uses Tripo for 3D asset generation and WordLabs for creating an entire environment with a splat. And I will just directly share with you how that would look like. So it is using Fall AI in the background. And on Fall AI, you can, for example, use Tripo. So I just told my agent, like you can see here, that he should please use Tripo for 3D asset generation and that he should take an image, which I generated. I will just show you shortly which image that was. Image blaster, exactly. And you basically just put the image in the input folder here. You tell Claude to blast the image, and he will create an entire world out of it with usable 3D asset. So this is the input image I provided, like some sci-fi style room. And what Image Blaster was making out of that, you can see here. So basically, you have this entire 3D environment. I don't know if you can see my sound right now, but it's also creating using Fall AI ambient sound. You have objects you can move around freely, like this stack of books, for example, or this monitor, which you can see usually here on the right side in the console. So let's try to move it there. Exactly. And that's a really nice way of adding interactivity automatically to your splat and using Tripo 3D for real-time object generation. And yeah, this you can find here at GitHub under Image Blaster, or also directly under the community showcases on WordLabs. And exactly from that, I will jump into the WordLabs Unity kit. So like I already shared, we built a lot of different kits so that you can build your own experiences using splats or especially world models for different engines. In this case, I will start with sharing the Unity kit with you, and Giannis will later start to share WebXR and the Unreal kit with you. And yes, why the Unity kit, or what does it do? So basically, it is a kit which brings WordLabs directly into Unity. Like you can see on the right side, you can generate your splats directly here from the world model and directly import them as well into Unity. It is quite a lot of work to bring splats usually into Unity because there's no officially supported solution for it right now, and most of the projects are quite not well maintained, for example. So we built this kit for bringing in WordLabs into Unity, but also to provide you an easy way of how to render splats inside of Unity and also on your XR device, for example. And yeah, there's some limitations, especially if you want to bring it on XR devices. Probably you can't use the big models provided by WordLabs, for example, with 2 million splats, but for XR, you can use, for example, 500,000 splat points exactly. And I would suggest to use this kit, especially if you want to have a lot of interactions, for example, on your Pico headset or something like that. If you have a lot of interactions and or want to use all the plugins and tools which are available in Unity. If you want to have really high quality, probably I would suggest you one of the other workflows that I will share with you later. And with that, I will jump directly into Unity to share with you the kit. So this is the GitHub project we just talked about, so you can find it on GitHub as well. Just since today, we also provided for a new Unity version, which is 6003.14f1. Please take care that you use these versions because they are already validated. And in this, at this point, I also want to say thank you to one of the SenseAI community members, which is Yinan, for providing this new update and being part of this project. So thank you very much. I would suggest you to really go through this step by step, because sometimes we saw that people at the hackathon forgot maybe one step and then get stuck somewhere, and then to get unstuck, it takes a bit of time. So first we would need a WordLabs API key, and that WordLabs API key we can find at the WordLabs API page. You can just create a new key yourself, can give it a name and copy it. I already did this step and I'll skip that. And that you need to put into the plugin itself. So first you need to download the plugin for Unity, which I did here in the Windows pack and then package management in Unity. And here you can install packages from the Git URL. I just did that. And then you would have this plugin installed. If you installed this, you can see this Unity WordLabs integration here, and you can go to settings and open the env file. And that's exactly where you put your API key you downloaded from WordLabs here. After you did this, there's some graphic settings you need to do. For example, here you need to go to project settings, player, other settings, and graphics API to choose the correct API. For example, for Windows D3D12 or Vulkan, for Mac Metal, and if you want to develop for XR and mobile devices, Vulkan. So I would just share with you where you find that. That would be under project settings, player, other settings, and here is the graphics API I'm using. I'm already in an Android project because I want to build for XR, so I use Vulkan. The other setting you need to do is you need to choose the change settings for the URP render configuration that you find under Assets, and here under Settings, where you find the mobile renderer, and you see I already added the Gaussian Splat URP feature. Additional, you need to change here in the mobile RPR asset to use no depth texture, no HDR, and disable the anti-aliasing. And in the project settings under graphics, you need to activate the compatibility mode. So for that, you also just go to project settings, graphics, and scroll all the way down to compatibility mode. In near Unity versions, you need to activate this feature because it will not be long-term supported anymore by copying this string and paste it into the player settings here under scripting defined symbols like I did. And after that, this flag will be available. If you did all of that, you should be able here in WorldLabs to create a new world by just prompting something here or by using an image URL or image file on your computer. And you can create a lot of worlds here directly inside of Unity. You don't need to go each time to the WorldLabs webpage. In this case, I already created a lot of worlds, so I would just show you how to import these. You just click easily on Import, Gaussian Splat, and just choose one of the resolutions. I use 500,000 splats here, for example, and medium quality setting. That's how much you will compress it internally in Unity. And if everything of the settings before was right, you will be able to see this splat like this. And yeah, can use that for your experiences. additional, you are able in the WordLabs Unity integration to also download the collision mesh by just clicking here on Import Collider Mesh. And then he will just copy it onto your system, and it will be available between the worlds you have here as a extra mesh file, as a GLB. You will not be, if you're not able to see this GLB file, you probably need to first install this GitHub, this Unity GLTF package for Unity. For that, you can just copy this GitHub URL and also just install it in Unity as a package using import from Git URL, and it will be available like here, Unity GLTF. And after that, you should be able to see the mesh and import it. I already did that in one of the example scenes here, which is this one, which we already know from the previous game example. And yes, I also added a XR origin, and to test it, how it would perform on a XR device, for example, like the Picos one, which will come up soon. I just use this resources available on the Pico developer website. And you can use here different kits. We will have actually workshops about each of these kits tomorrow. So you should definitely join that session. But for us right now, we just use this Pico Unity SDK. And there's also an emulator available, which I have already running here by just starting it from my command line and have it running here. And in this emulator, you can basically emulate how your application would run on a device. So you can directly from Unity build to this emulator by just choosing the running emulator and build towards that. I did that in this case already for you, and this is what we now we have a bad start point, but this is what the experience would look like. So you can run through the room and build on top of that a lot of different adaptations. Exactly. One last thing I wanted to mention about the Tripo, which we already used, for example, in Image Blaster using Fall AI. You can also, for example, directly import resources from Tripo. If you build a 3D resources here, for example, I generated a golden key by just using a bridge here to Unity. They have a lot of different tools available, Unreal, etc. So you just install a plugin, which is downloaded, and you install it also just about the package manager by adding it here. Here's the Tripo bridge now. And if you did that, you have it here available as a tool, the Tripo bridge. And to connect it now, you just need to, on the website, activate, for example, Unity. And now it is connected. We can also double check it here. You can see the status is connected. And you can directly from Tripo now export every model directly into Unity, for example, and have a much easier workflow and optimized workflow to bring your resources into Unity. That's really exciting, actually. And if soon that is done, in 1 second. So I have a lot of things open here right now. Okay, I guess just my Unity. Yes. Turning off now. Okay, this. Okay, as soon you do that, he will automatically add this asset into your scene, which is quite practical. Here now it is also matching my style already. And I can directly interact with that, use it in your experience, etc. So yeah, that's something we wanted to share with you. Also, Triple will provide credits to you on the hackathon, so that is a really exciting opportunity to bring high quality models to your experiences. And now I just need to find my internet browser again. Yes. And yeah, with that said, I want to share with you that we have a surprise guest, which is another Sense AI mentor, Johannes, who will show you now the WebXR and the Unreal workflow.
Amazing. Thank you, Nigel. Now let me just share my screen. Yeah, I'm going to be showing Unreal Engine and then also I think we can see your screen still. Oh, yeah, here we go. Perfect. Hi. So I'm Johannes. I'm going to be showing you the Unreal kit that we have, as well as the WebXR kit. Gonna start with Unreal, of course. So, I mean, Unreal Engine, you all know it for sort of like high fidelity, high quality graphics, and that's what the engine is known for throughout a number of industries, not only gaming, but also sort of like virtual production. And there are a couple of different ways of rendering splats within Unreal. Usually, like generally, splats are pretty easy to integrate into Unreal, pretty seamless integration. A couple of different plugins allow you to do this. I'm going to show you which one we sort of picked. There are a number of them, and I'm going to speak at the end about some of the other choices because it really depends on your use case. But yeah. Unreal has a smaller ecosystem for VR. That means you have less tooling available versus, for example, Unity, which has the Unity MR SDK or some of the Meta plugins, as well as Pico. In Unreal, you just have a little bit less of that. That's why a lot of the sort of like VR, AR crowd will usually gravitate towards Unity, and then Unreal is more on the sort of like virtual production side of things. Exactly. Or video rendering. The plugin that I'm recommending is the Xverse 3D Splat renderer. It's a great name, but it's from a company called Xverse. It's an open source project. Unfortunately, it is only maintained until version 5.5. So if you want to use 5.8 with the new MCP, unfortunately, you can't use that plugin. You will have to use a paid alternative instead, which already brings me to the reasoning why we recommend this plugin. It's because it's free and open source. So maybe you don't want to spend about 100 euros on a plugin if you just go to a hackathon and want to experiment with this. But if you're the kind of person that works in Unreal anyway, then you might want to. Generally, this is true for Xverse as for the other ones. Usually they work with Niagara. So essentially the splats are instantiated as particles using the Niagara particle system from Unreal. And yeah, the Xverse one here supports PLY. It doesn't support SPZ, which is the sort of like compressed, more optimized version, but you can convert SPZ into PLY. So it basically supports any splat format that you would run into. And it also offers a couple of like runtime editing things where you can cull meshes and stuff like that, or where you can cull sort of like the bounding box. Then, yeah, I alluded a little bit to this already with when you want to do XR, which I know not everybody wants to do, but I'm still going to talk about it quickly. You can use the Meta XR SDK. This is available for 5.5. This is also what we recommend. And then for XR interactions and locomotions, like interaction systems, grabbing and stuff like that, there are a couple of sort of, I guess, third-party alternatives available. But if you're doing VR in Unreal, then you probably already have your own preference, and I'm not going to bore you with that, with my own opinion on it. Right. And then when it comes to the rendering guidelines, I would generally recommend, unless you have a very strong rig, to keep it below 2 million splats. this isn't quite as optimal as something like Spark.js, which runs on the web. This is a little bit more resource hungry. And if you're using VR, then I would also disable instance stereo because it doesn't really work with the rendering. So you get only one eye. Yeah. Right. Our kit that we have, sort of like from SenseAI, is the WorldLabs Unreal kit. It's pretty simple. It essentially just imports the binaries of the plugin, so you don't have to install it. It's a GitHub repo. I'm going to show that in a second for Unreal 5.5, and it's essentially ready to use. And yeah, you can import PLY files into that project and generate blueprints from the splats, which is also what I'm going to directly show you because I think it's better to just essentially get straight into the action. So this is the project that I opened. You can see the repo here. This is the SenseAI Unreal World model that is in the description. It gives a few installation guidelines and generally how it works, plus crediting Xverse for making this great plugin available for everyone. I'm just saying. So the way this works is essentially you add the plugin, and then all you need to do is find the folder, which is, I have a couple of PLY files here. I have one of a nice cafe, which you can just drag and drop in. It lets me. Try the other one. All right. So you can see it is pretty quick to import the files. I imported the other one previously and then deleted the files. I think that's why it didn't work. So I'm just trying another one. So it doesn't take a long time to import the files. It's very simple. You just drag and drop it in. Then you get two files. One is a blueprint, and you can just simply drag and drop the blueprint into your scene. And then you have essentially all the splats like this. And right. This works for essentially any splat. Just make sure that it's not too big. Again, I would limit it to about 2 million splats in total. And this is essentially our kit. I couldn't help but try out the Tripo AI sort of mesh generation as well. This is essentially, they have a plugin, which is a DCC bridge. You can just enable it here. And then you can import these models directly into Unreal. I generated this teacup, which I prepared for the cafe scene that I'm going to import. But anyway, so these are individual meshes, and I have already sort of like imported this previously because the import of these ones takes a little bit longer than the splats, which is funny that, you know, like a mesh takes longer to import than a splat. But yeah, so you can essentially very, very easily now generate a whole environment and then populate it with objects, and you can then make the objects interactable as well. So this is, I think this is really, really great for something like a hackathon, where you can just really quickly mock up something that looks very good as well. Right. So that's essentially the part that I have on Unreal. I mean, it's essentially importing splats using a plugin, and that's more or less it. It's a very seamless and very nice and smooth experience, as you would know from Unreal as an engine, because it is very great. So the second workflow that I'm going to be showing is the WebXR kit that we have. So Ian has already talked a little bit about Spark.js, which is basically a 3JS-based renderer that runs in your browser for splats as well. And I mean, this is like really, really, really nicely optimized. So you can render a lot of splats with Spark.js 2.0. And the kit that we're offering for the hackathon is essentially a WebXR integration for Spark.js. So this is a very different kind of workflow than what people are used to when they come from traditional game engines. This all runs in a browser. which also means that it runs on essentially any XR hardware, except for, I guess, Apple Vision Pro, because they don't yet support WebXR, but it runs on Quest, on Pico headsets. I even ran this on the Spectacles. Yeah, it's, even if you might be unfamiliar with sort of like web development workflows, it's very, very easy to get started, especially with our kit, and nowadays even more so if you're using things like Claude or like Codex. I already talked a little bit about the high performance. It's extremely impressive. You saw Ian's demo earlier where they showed like 40 million splats running in a browser. And yeah, exactly. And Unity-like interactions, I'm going to talk a little bit about that, because I think this is actually what really rounds this off nicely. Then, in addition to Spark.js, we have something called IWSDK, which is also an open source SDK for getting essentially VR, AR support for within the browser. This is maintained by Meta, but it's also an open source, so you can also make pull requests. And it gives you Unity-like components like XR interactions, locomotions, UI, anchors, physics, pass-through. So you can make essentially very similar experiences to what you would usually do in Unity, but you can do it in the web now. And they also provide an emulator. I think Nigel showed this briefly in his own segment, where you can test your experience without needing to put on a XR headset, which is very handy, and I'm going to show that in a second. So yeah, this is sort of like the whole point of this kit. I think that the immersive web SDK and Spark.js together is a really great pipeline for getting world models, or I suppose Gaussian splats in a XR context. It's yeah, this is our open source kit. Essentially, it really, we have solved all the hard technical complexity for you already. It's pretty simple to install this. It has a couple of pre-built components for faster development. So we provide interactions, as you can see here, basic UI that you can also use, and animations for the splats where you have sort of like this fade in animation and that kind of stuff. So things that you might want to use anyway, we've already sort of like built this in a way where it's also fairly easy for a coding agent to work with this. Yeah, for vibe coding, this is basically really, really good. And during our last hackathon, I think more than half of the participants used this kit. Right. Before I talk too much over the slides, I'm just going to show you. So what you will see when you download the repo and you open it is that there are a couple of errors, which is, for example, here, 3JS is missing, IWSDK is missing. If you don't come from web development, this is fairly simple. All you need to do is to type npm install, and this will then download all of the packets that are required to run this. So it will create a folder and download all the dependencies. For the sake of this session, I have already done that. It doesn't take super long, but I didn't want to waste the time with it. So this will essentially create this node modules folder here that has here, for example, Babylon.js, Spark.js, and now all of the errors are essentially gone. And there is just one more command that you need to know. You really only need to know two, and this is like npm run dev, which then runs the development server. This is basically pressing play in your game engine. That would be sort of the equivalent to it. And this is going to open up a browser. But I'm going to use the browser within cursor because I think it's better. Right. Let's give it a second to spin up. And well, now you are essentially in the splat itself. You can also see that it's the same splat that I showed in Unreal, and it just looks a little bit better. It's just this tiny little bit crisper. It's a bit smoother. And we can take a look at the emulator as well that is built in into the IWSDK. So you get two controllers with all the button mappings. So you can walk around like this. can rotate, you can move the controllers around, or there's also sort of like a game engine mode where you can walk around with WASD. It's a little bit laggy because I'm streaming, but yeah, you can then also interact with anyway, but you can then also interact with the individual objects. I'm just going to have to reload the window. Right. Just a few things about the project structure. It's quite simple. If you want to load your own, splats, you can essentially tell Claude to change it. The whole project is set up in a way where a coding agent will understand it really easily. Yeah, and that's essentially it. If you choose to use this, I really wish you a lot of fun in vibe coding XR applications with Gaussian splats, because that's what I do, and that's what a lot of other people have also been doing. And it really is just a very fun way to work. Right. So a couple of examples. I'm only going to glimpse over this, but this would be one of the examples where it's a language learning app that uses Gaussian splats as the environments, and then all the sort of like language learning app functionality is then built within WebXR. There's also a demo here, and this was during a SenseAI hackathon in Barcelona. Yeah. Right. And I suppose at this point, I am going to hand it back.
Thanks, Jonas. Thanks, Nigel. Yeah, it was just the kits, but I already shared it in the chat, so that should be all good. Okay. We have only one last question of today after so many hours. Hi, Nigel. I'm really excited to learn more about the workflows. Is there any way to split the world model into smaller parts or edit it? For example, remove the lamp from the wall. Did we show Super Splat or?
Yes, so if you want to edit with Splat, probably you can use a Super Splat, like we probably already talked 1 or 2 times about today, because Super Splat is a web editor which is really efficient in editing the app as Splat, and I would definitely suggest to use that one. If the question is more tended to ask about automatic editing using, for example, the Splat Analyzer, like especially what you said with removing the lamp objects like that, then yes, you could use it. For example, in one of the example, we showed that inside of the 3D bounding box, we was marking in different colors the different splat points. And instead of marking them, sure, you can easily also automatically let them disappear or remove it from the splat. But there were probably some problems with accuracy. So we get 3D bounding boxes, but they are not like 100% accurate. And that would probably visually not look like what you want. And on the other hand, it will leave, in case of deleting, probably a black space, empty space inside of the splat. Where you maybe need to find a workaround. But I would love to see use cases like that as well on the hackathon in LA.
That's all the questions we had. So now is your last chance to ask any questions, and if not, then we can finish for today. Thanks so much, Jonas, Nigel, for joining us again.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone who stuck with us until now. No more new questions, so I think we can just end it here. And join us actually tomorrow. I can share the calendar link one more time, because tomorrow we are introducing Pico SDKs, and we are also covering React Vision if you want to build with AR mobile platform. And we are also showing decoding Kotlin for Unity devs for the first time. So I will just share the calendar.
And I guess I speak for all of us. If there's any additional questions afterward, you can contact us on socials or also directly put issues in our GitHub repositories. We would love to get feedback as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was lagging when trying to copy it. Okay. Okay, here's the full calendar for everyone if you want to sign up. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.